Everyone, welcome to my channel. So today's video I'm going to talk about Saturn transit in Pisces and its impact on Aquarius rising. Anyone with an Aquarius rising, Aquarius ascendant, Aquarius lagna or moon in Aquarius. This video is applicable for all of them. So guys, this transit happened on the 29th of March 2025. So before I talk to you about what is coming your way in the next 2.5 years, let me just take you back. Let me just walk you through on what happened 2.5 years prior to 29th of March. So during then, Saturn was, transiting in your ascendant, which means, in terms of your ascendant, in terms of your physical existence, it was a good transit. So, which is like, like you could create some long-term fitness goals for yourself. However, if you look at the aspects of Saturn, those aspects were on the house of its enemy, which is the house of Mars as well as the house of Sun, which means you faced issues around the hard work. You did a lot of hard work, but the results were not as according to your hard work. You faced issues with your siblings. You faced issues around short-term, travel, which is those were not so fruitful. The short-term travels you made for the business. Okay, and that is the debilitated aspect on the house of Mars. Now, the next aspect is on the house of Sun, which is again, complete enmity with Saturn. And that house belongs to your marriage. That house belongs to your business partnership, which means you face a lot of issues around your marriage. There could have been a lot of disagreements with your spouse. There could have been a lot of conflicts with the spouse. There could have been separations, divorces. So marriage was tough. You could have been living away from your spouse. Now, the next thing is you have faced challenges with your business partners. You have faced challenges in the partnership business, the growth of business. Now, the next, aspect again is on the house of Mars, and that too on the house of your profession. So, which means, you faced issues at work. You faced demotions. You could have faced, like situations around your professional status, your professional image, your professional power. So, I would say, like, in terms of the ascendant, it was good. Otherwise, the other three areas were very bad, and those areas were very important. Now, let's talk about what is coming your way in the next 2.5 years. So, Saturn for Aquarius people, is the lord of the 12th house of foreign land and the house of ascendant. Saturn is now moved into your second house of your wealth. From there, Saturn has a character trait, like wherever it sits, it brings expansion in that area. Okay, it brings growth in that area. However, wherever it aspects, it creates problems. This time, what is happening is that even the aspects of Saturn are on its friend's house. So Saturn would be giving the third aspect on your fourth house, and that house belongs to Venus, and Saturn has excellent relation of Venus with Venus. And fourth house is the home, like the place where you live. Saturn giving the seventh aspect on your eighth house, and that house belongs to Mercury, again a very good friend of Saturn. Saturn would be giving the 10th aspect on your network connections and gains, and that aspect would be on the house of Jupiter, which again Saturn has neutral relations. So all the aspects are on the friendly signs. Now let's talk about in detail, like what is coming your way in the next 2.5 years. So Saturn moving, into your second house. Second house is the house of your wealth. So what you would see with a planet, with a movement of planet like Saturn, you would be able to create a, very long-term wealth for you as well as for your family. You would be able to create long-term assets for you as well as for your family. In this next 2.5 years, you would see a lot of financial growth. You would see a lot of increase, in your bank balance. You would see the liquidity around money would grow. There would be, your net worth would grow. Your net worth in the society would grow. Saturn being the 12th house lord, also there is a possibility that, you can earn money or you earn, wealth from the, abroad. That is also seen. So I mean, in terms of money, it's a beautiful time, guys. To next 2.5 years, because Saturn is is expanding your money in your house of wealth. So there would be excellent communication with your close family, with your the closest family where you live. So beautiful transit in terms of that. Now, as even your ascendant lord, you would create a lot of financial goals. So everything around your ascendant, which is your physical existence, you would see expansion in that area. I mean, positive state of mind. I mean, everything around the ascendant, everything around your physical existence, you would see a lot of, good things coming your way. I mean, positive state of mind, will to win, good health, everything. Okay. Now, let's talk about the aspects of Saturn. So Saturn, as I shared, the third aspect of Saturn will be on the house of Venus. Okay, now that house belongs to your home where you live, your mother, your vehicles, your emotional happiness. So with this, what would happen is that there is a very strong possibility that in the next 2.5 years, you would buy a home for yourself. Okay, you would renovate the home where you are living in. Okay, and you would buy furniture for your home. So I mean, good things around home. Now, the next thing is you may buy like a vehicle in the next 2.5 years. Okay, and you would be at a lot of like you would see a lot of emotional happiness at your home, like the place where you live. Okay, now the mother is also the house of mother. So, guys, one, your relationship with your mother would be excellent. Okay, the health of your mother would also be good. And one more thing is that in terms of buying your home, in terms of buying your vehicle, okay, in terms of renovating your home, your mother would play a major role. Your mother would you would receive a lot of help from your mother. So this is seen from the third aspect. Now let's move to the seventh aspect of Saturn, which is now giving an aspect on your eighth house. So eighth house is the house of sudden gains. So what you would see is that there is a possibility of sudden gains coming your way, because Saturn is, the source of this. Saturn is sitting in the second house. So a very strong possibility around sudden gains, sudden income, sudden wealth, unexpected wealth. Now, the next thing is there is a possibility around inheritance, that you may inherit. Okay, you may inherit wealth, you may inherit, real estate. That is also seen from here. Now, this is the house of basically, transformation. So here you would see that, there would be a lot of transformation in the next 2.5 years, transformation for good. Like with each passing day, you would experience that you're becoming a better person in terms of transformation. So if you are into, maybe, like this is the house where you can see that, there could be a gain from insurance, this is the house where if you have lent money to someone and now you consider it as gone, you consider it as gone. Now is the time when that money would come back. Money would come back from the unexpected sources. So this is also the house of, guys, research, which means if you pick up anything of your choice and you do research around that, in the next 2.5 years, you can be a master, in whatever area you choose to do a research on. And we all know that what is the power of research, what is the power of knowing something which is, hidden from the world. So that's also one thing. Now, guys, this is also about, if you have been struggling with any kind of a bad habit, okay, you've been struggling with any kind of an addiction, which is, which could be smoking, which could be drinking, which could be, like those chemicals and drugs. Okay, even, I would say the addiction of food. So during this time, in the next 2.5 years, you would be able to get rid of that addiction. You would be able to, quit that bad thing. So that is also seen. So beautiful. I mean, this is a very beautiful house, guys. It is an hidden house. So, and it's a beautiful aspect of Saturn. Why? Because, it is the house of Mercury. Now, let's talk about the Saturn 10th aspect on your house of your network, which means you would see your professional network would expand, your social network would expand, your connections would expand. you would create meaningful connections with very good people, very influential people, and these people, these connections will give you gains throughout your life. Okay, so if you have been manifesting, anything, which you have been dreaming about since a long period of time, now this is the time when you would see that wish getting fulfilled. Okay, so lot of gains coming through the network. So not just in terms of like just the gains or the like money. It could be like if you're meeting people, if you're meeting like if you're getting social, if you're getting meeting people around your work. So you would see like you would get some suggestions, some advices from them. So beautiful time in terms of your network and connection. So guys, now this is the time when you start investing your like time on networking. Start going out in the parties, start going out, like do this networking. This is the best time, because there is a very 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 strong probability that whatever time you would invest in networking, the money which you invest in networking, okay, the focus that you would invest in networking, each time you would like bring something back home. Each time you will bring some either gains, either some business or some beautiful idea. So beautiful time in terms of that, guys. So that's mostly what I wanted to talk about this transit, guys. So it's a beautiful transit in the next 2.5 years. Just make the best out of it. Okay. And the next thing I want to talk about, like, who gets this impact. So people with Aquarius rising passing through with Saturn Mahadasha or Antardasha, you would see 100% of this impact. Okay, people with Aquarius rising, not passing through with Saturn Mahadasha or Saturn Antardasha, you would also see a lot of impact around this. I'll give you a reason why. Because Saturn is a planet, which transits after every 2.5 years. And that's a long, it's the longest period of time. So technically, all Aquarius people, would see the impact of this transit. So beautiful times, guys, ahead. That's mostly what I wanted to share. So if you've liked this video, I would request you to press the subscription, to press the bell notification. And Aquarius people, I also request you to write your comment, because your comment really validates my effort. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks a lot for your time. Hope you've liked the video. You have a great evening. Thank you.